Hi Collective, Sid Jeffries here. In this video, I'll go over those who are fire capable and how I categorize their capabilities and what they typically entail, what informs the tactics in dealing with them, and how the evacuations are conducted, how I score and rate their threat capacity against my threat criteria metrics, and my reasonings why. And when all is said and done, I will show you where they rank on the threat chart in comparison. Let's begin. The first order of business is classification and common capabilities. Power type classification is material. What their capabilities typically entail is for partially matured, increased durability to heat sources, fire kinesis limited, thermal vision, sight not projectile beam. Fully matured have durability to heat sources, fire kinesis, fire generation and projection, pilot flight, thermal vision, ocular thermal blast for those who are advanced, and distance combustion. That brings us to the preparation notes. For notes and caveats, fire capable often have their ability partially assisted by their adrenal gland. Water isn't a direct weakness, as traditionally thought, as fire generation comes from the blood, and fire generation can only happen if the blood is fully healthy and water still serves all of its important functions and can make internal generation stronger as the body can internally split the water into oxygen and hydrogen, creating a more potent attack. Water only works in dousing of others and of the environment. For their assisters, dry environments with hotter climates making things worse, chemical accelerants, and high oxygen areas are all areas to watch out for. For weaknesses, water is only a weakness for odds of ignition, not internal generation, and low oxygenated areas. The sort of things they are resistant to are areas with excess heat, volcanic and molten regions, who are those advanced. The sort of weapons and gear you should bring are fireproof gear, weapons that don't rely on ignitable sources like gunpowder, chemicals, or certain types of gases and liquids, visors that can seal the eyes from intense light, heat detecting equipment, and fire snuffers. The survival plans you should adhere to are: if your means of effective counter against are gone, get to a wide open space with minimal man-made structures and among substantial rock formations and near bodies of water, fresh water preferably. And as for the evacuation plans of the general public, due to the nature of damage done by fire capables, when alerting the public and telling them to evacuate, we tell the public that there's a terrorist who deals in arson. The objective is to get the public out of and away from man-made structures, and out into the open away from forests as well. Always be sure to help coordinate traffic flow for ease of escape. Skyscrapers are sealed off along with plants and buildings that have an abundance of ignitable materials. Bridges and tunnels can be utilized for escape, but only with active monitoring and assessment of the situation. People are evacuated in zone phases, with the outer perimeters evacuated first, before the inner perimeter. This brings us to our threat potential metrics. As a reminder, all these are rated out of 20. A, autonomy is rated at a 2 for PTSD. B, public health, which is rated at a 4 for burn injuries, caustic smoke, and exercise toxic chemical inhalation. C, which is property damage, which is rated at a 6. Anywhere from threats to wooden structures to the warping of steel and metals. Industries and businesses with flammable gases or materials such as gasoline, coal, various chemicals and paints, plastic and rubbers, dry materials such as paper, and areas with excessive chemical pollutants are at significant risk. D, integrity of the natural world is rated at a 4, poses risks to forests, grasslands with heavily impact industries such as logging and farming. A. Extra normative resource expenditure, which is rated at a 4. This often requires resources in abundance that most police and military units don't regularly carry due to the areas at risk require strategic navigation and immediate prior knowledge in the area. It also requires a fast response due to the nature of how fire spreads and can restart, especially in situations when weather is unfavorable. But it is not so out of the norm that we are slow to react and are unprepared. It's a normative risk provided by a non-normative situation. F. The integrity of the presentation of reality and reality itself is rated at 2. Fires are a normative event but are devastating to the landscape. G. Fiscal damage, which is rated at a 4. Due to the nature of the damage done to infrastructure, destruction of resources, and necessary evacuations, economic damage is considerable but commonplace. 8. Digital infrastructure damage, which is rated at a 3. This intense heat can and will often damage digital infrastructure. However, businesses and entities that have data saved in places external outside the affected area can and often will, with relative ease, restore data. However, not everyone is so forward-thinking and prepared. And I, recoverability, which is rated at 3, is a normative situation provided by a non-normative agent. There already exists entities in society that deal with fire, such as local fire departments, and being a normative occurrence with the occurrences of wildfires, home accidents, and workplace carelessness, infrastructure already exists to help in the recovery. And this leaves us with a final score of 32, which is a level B5. And that is all for now. I appreciate everyone who followed all the way through. In the next video, I'll go over those with super strength. Do you disagree with me on anything? Have any suggestions? Or do you just want to leave me with your thoughts? Feel free to. I'll be happy to hear. If you like what you see, please follow and share. That is all for now. Take care. Don't frustrate yourselves and be creative.